Welcome back. If you're looking for something new to watch, you don't want to miss out on Mayor of Kingstown. This is a show all about the business of incarceration, a prison town, and I spoke with Hugh Dillon, star of that. Recently, we had quite the in-depth conversation about this. Here's more.
Right now, we are going to talk about who really runs a city built on the business of incarceration. Paramount Plus original series, Mayor of Kingstown. Star of the series, Hugh Dillon, is here today to tell us all about this. How are you doing?
Good. Excited.
So tell me more about Mayor of Kingstown.
Well, it's just a raw, uncompromising, sometimes uncomfortable show to watch. It's based on a prison town. I created it with Taylor Sheridan 10 years ago. We had our first script, and it's a dream come true. I was from a prison town originally that had a medium, a maximum, a minimum, and a prison for women. It had 9 penitentiaries. And I played hockey as a kid, and both my coaches were cops, and they'd show up with, guns on their ankles, and they'd leave them on the bench at practice. And 15 years ago, I met Taylor. We were 2 broke actors living in Los Angeles. He was my acting coach. He coached me, got me a show called Flashpoint, and we would just dream and talk about, well, what would you want to do if you could do it? And he was from Texas, and we started just talking about this idea, Mayor of Kingstown. And, hit 10 years later, here we are.
It's interesting. Many people, if they haven't lived in a prison town or they're not familiar with this, what this show brings to light is how it's the business of incarceration is the main thriving industry in these areas. And there's a lot that goes on with this. So tell me more about how this show addresses this business and how it plays into everything in the town.
Well, it's, how people are affected by crime and punishment and the collateral damage emotionally, personally, mentally. And, these are some of the most brutal and unfair places in existence in the 21st century, and they exist in our society. And we wanted to shine a light on it. And, what's behind, I knew it because I was from one of these towns. And it's just, it's how does this world that we've created, and how do some of these institutions bleed into our kind of civilized culture. It's what goes on behind these walls, and how do they work? And it's something that we hadn't seen before. And Taylor, again, he was my coach, and we were just reading scripts, and he had read 1 million scripts and coached people on 1 million things. And it was, we wanted to see something different and talk about something different and be part of something that was interesting to us. And, and Taylor's a curious person. He wants to get to the bottom of things. And it's just, if you're ever in a conversation with him, it's intense, and he wants to get to the truth, and he wants to know why things work. And he does that with, he did it with Sicario. He does it with Yellowstone. He's a great American voice, and he gets into the detail and the what makes things tick, and that's interesting.
This show addresses themes of systemic racism, corruption, inequality, and how do you approach your role as an actor, especially with some of these really tough, hard topics that many people are dealing with right now?
Well, that's the thing. So many folks are desensitized, and there is an ethical drift, and it's finding the truth in it, and it is that why do we do what we do? And I think that is what's we've always looked for in songwriting or storytelling or art. And it is holding a mirror up to ourselves and to society, And this, I had worked at a hospital for sick children for 5 years on a night shift when I was in my 20s. And it's just some of these environments that are in our society that we don't see every day, or cops or firemen. It's just another world that, when we're just going about our days, we hear the ambulances or we see, the cops driving somewhere. This is just really about going deeper into our own world and what's really happening out there. And yeah.
And I know you can't dictate this because you never know how audiences will respond, but do you think that this will leave individuals feeling frustrated, inspired, maybe even spurred to action?
It's all about inspiration. It's all about inspiration because, first and foremost, I rolled into LA with $8 and a credit card, and this was a dream. And so anybody who you can do it. And this was all about an exercise in never giving up and perseverance. And with Taylor Sheridan, he's always been that kind of motivational force of you just have to never give up. And this show is that. And you see that in the characters. And as the show progresses, you will really see it. And it's done in such a cinematic way that this is a movie. It's not just a TV show. This is a 10-episode movie, a 10-hour movie. And I think with Jeremy Renner and Diane Wiest and a killer soundtrack, and it is the kind of thing that I aspired to. And I remember watching movies and going to movies with my older brother and my dad when I was a kid, and just fascinated with, Dirty Harry, for example, or just things that weren't candy coated. And I love The Doors, and there were just certain things that, I was a little predisposed to some more darker impulses, and those are the stories that interested me. And that's what this does. This isn't cookie cutter. Some things are built by a corporation or by a group of people, and this isn't. This is a two guys in a room, and ultimately, this is the buck stops with Taylor. And that's what interests me. It's like, that's how Scorsese did it. That's how Spielberg did it. And and Taylor is that kind of person. He has the vision, and he is uncompromising. And that's what I want to be part of. That's what I am as a musician. You've got to be unafraid, and you've got to be able to, the only thing interesting to me are these kind of uncompromising stories.
Well, thank you so much, Hugh Dillon, for joining us today. I really appreciate this in-depth conversation about Mayor of Kingstown. The new episodes are available to stream every Sunday exclusively on Paramount+. Again, Hugh, thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to watch.
Cool. Thank you.